Hello lords and ladies, welcome back to Cartoon Hangout, your place for all things cartoon. After a long wait, Dan Povenmire's newest show, Hamster Gretel, is finally out. You should hopefully recognize his name as one of the creators of Phineas and Ferb, as well as Milo Murphy's Law, Phineas and Ferb's underrated but really good follow-up. Like Milo, Hamster and Gretel is set in the same universe as Phineas and Ferb. Before the premiere, I didn't really watch too many clips about the show, so I'd go in as fresh as possible. So now I have the unenviable task of telling you my thoughts on the show's first episode. If you didn't know about the show beforehand, the new series is centered around a boy named Kevin and his younger sister Gretel, who, along with her hamster, simply called Hamster, have gained superpowers from an alien spaceship. Weird, right? This wouldn't be the first Povenmire show to start things off with a spaceship either. Milo was also visited by aliens in the first episode of his show, too. He didn't get any powers, though. From there, Kevin becomes their eye in the sky, advising them on how best to use their powers, all from his mother's minivan, which he is not too keen on doing at first, as his sister does not seem to listen to him at all, though he learns to roll with it by episode's end. Hamster and Gretel get right to being superheroes, saving a kitten from a well, and later facing off their own villain, Professor Exclamation. A clever play on Professor X. It's a very quick introduction that left me a little whiplashed, but it's also a simple enough premise, so it's probably forgivable. The thing I found interesting, if not a little bit annoying about this first episode, is it seems primed to deliver a lesson to Gretel about listening to her brother, and that not all of her problems can be solved with her fists, but that doesn't happen. Everything works out for her while leaving her brother getting drenched repeatedly. If any lesson is learned, it's from Kevin. First, about how he's a part of the team after all, he's the brains, and then that he needs to roll with the punches. I'm by no means claiming a cartoon must have moral lessons, but I did find it off-putting that Kevin gets the short end of the stick here. I'm hoping that it won't be as annoying in future episodes, and that if it does happen more, just let it be entertaining at least. It's reminding me a little bit about Candice in Phineas and Ferb, in that how she often got the short end of the stick. But at least with Candice, she was far more antagonistic in the show, in that she was always trying to bust her brothers. So you were usually kind of against her, because the brothers usually weren't doing anything that terrible. So, you kind of argue it didn't make sense for her to always be trying to bust them for stuff. But with Kevin, he's trying to help them. He's not trying to bust them. So it kind of just seems kind of lame that he's getting the short end of the stick here. Luckily, I do still think the writing is top-notch. This is a damn Povenmire show, after all. All the little quirks you've come to know from Phineas and Ferb and Milo Murphy's Law are all here. The random humor, like a flying saucer that talks, bestowing powers.
Powers unimaginable!
Ooh, like the power to fly?
Okay, I guess some of them are imaginable.
The odd villain messing around with his lighting.
This is a message for the... Wait, why is my face dark? I'm just gonna... No, that's the light for the backdrop.
Etc. Even if this first episode was not as amazing as the premieres of his other shows, it's still really good, I think, in general. Some highlights that I'd like to address is obviously the animation. It looks really great, even with non-action scenes. Like, it looks really good, in my opinion. Things have certainly improved a lot with Povenmire shows since the early days of Phineas and Ferb. The animation was good, with Milo Murphy, but this show seems even a step above that. And I hear the action scenes will be higher quality than both of those, so that's something to be excited about. Another highlight of the episode was when Gretel learns Hamster can talk.
Sense of romance.
Whatever. If anyone needs me, I'll be in my wheel.
Wait, you can talk?
It's been done a billion times before in other shows, what with a small animal talking suddenly with a deep voice, but it still makes me chuckle every time. I also think this scene here was funny too.
Wait, is that Fred?
Yes, now you and Hamster need to lift the shell and...
Say hi from me.
Gretel says hi. Now you need to lift the shell and...
Did she say hi back?
Gretel, you can have a whole conversation with her after we save the city!
I'm interested in some of the other characters we're introduced to in this episode, like Kevin's cousin Fred, and his potential love interest, Hiromi, who works at a comic shop. Fred seems like a really neat character, with their kind of blunt way of speaking and their no-nonsense attitude. And the design she has is very simple, yet I kind of like it. At first, this is probably going to sound silly, but I wasn't sure if Fred was supposed to be a girl or not. It took me looking it up to discover Fred is short for Winifred. I thought maybe Disney had included one of their first trans characters, but nope. Which is fine. Fred is still cool, regardless. Before we end things off, there's also the segment Oakey Dokey, but everything I've said so far basically covers that part too. Basically, the oak tree Gretel and Bailey love is destroyed thanks to the former not listening to Kevin about how to tackle this asteroid coming down. That's where the lesson about not always using your fists might have come into play, but then it doesn't, because Gretel fixes a tree with glue. It's a really short part of the episode, as most of the episode is devoted to Empower Failure, where they get their superpowers. One thing to note is the end, where two other stranded motorists are given powers by an alien saucer too, but this time are told to strictly use it for evil. It's possible, like Milo Murphy's Law, that Hamster and Gretel may have an ongoing side story that runs through several episodes before becoming a major storyline. At least, that's what I'm assuming anyway. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Now, while I did praise Fred's design a little bit earlier, I do think some of the other characters in the show seem lacking with their designs in general, especially titular characters like Gretel and the villain, Professor Exclamation. Gretel's cute and all, but at the same time I found her appearance a little boring. I don't know if I can put my finger on why, that's just my current impression. Both character designs seem like something you'd find in a fan animation, or one of those sites that let you make your own cartoon characters. That might be a little harsh, but that's how I felt. I think Hamster and Gretel is a fine show so far. It does have that special quality you find in Papa Meyer's other shows. It's humorous and well animated, and I'm intrigued by the dynamic between Kevin and his sister and where that will go as the show continues. But whether or not it'll go on to be as great as those other shows, only time will tell. What did you think of the first episode of Hamster and Gretel? Let me know down in the comments below, and before you go, consider becoming a member to watch more reviews like this earlier than anyone else. I also have a reopened merch store that you can buy exclusive Cartoon Hangout designs from. Just click the store tab on my channel. And one last thing, if you're looking for a new wallet, then I highly recommend Extra Wallets. It's a slim wallet that allows you easy access to your cards at the press of a button and holds 12 cards. It's something I've been using for months, and it's great. I definitely recommend it. That's it for me. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and take care.